By the end of this video, you should have a better ability to audiate basic chord progressions in your mind. This is an essential skill for improvisation and confident musicianship. So we're going to tackle this subject. I'm going to kind of give you a brief overview of how to do this. This is a really important concept. If you're a professional musician determined to elevate your craft and stay relevant, this lesson is for you. And every week we tackle the same core issue: building your audiation so you can truly hear music before you play it. And for those of you that don't know, audiation is the ability to hear things internally even when no sound is present externally. It goes back to this concept: how can you paint if you don't know what green looks like? In music, if you can't audiate chord progressions, you're missing the essential colors that give shape and meaning to your playing and composing. So it's an essential skill. If you don't have it, this is not a nice to have thing. I believe this is essential for taking your playing and musicianship to the next level. And so that's why we're going to discuss this today. So what we're going to do is we're going to focus on audiating chord progressions. I'll play a simple 1, 4, 5, 1 progression in root position. So there's going to be parallel fifths and octaves, but we're trying to audiate. We're not trying to learn proper voice leading, okay? Your task, just close your eyes and hear each chord change in your mind. No playing, no singing. You're just going to listen internally. After a pause, I'm going to replay the progression. So notice how your internal hearing matches the actual chords. Let's try something. I'm going to play a C major chord. This is going to be our tonic. Just close your eyes. Take a breath in. Let it out. Take another breath in. Let it out. Just kind of center yourself. Clear your mind as much as you can. Now listen to this chord. Listen to its character. Listen to its overall sound. Don't necessarily try and break it apart. That's more advanced audiation. Just listen to the sound. When it dies out, I want you to try and continue the sound. Just listen. Now, if you're trying to audiate, you're probably a little bit frustrated if this is new to you because, like, I can't hear that. I can't recreate that in my mind. You create an image of it. It doesn't match exactly, and you don't worry if it matches exactly in the early stage. All you're trying to do is you're trying to tell the brain, give it the instructions that it needs to be able to hear that chord, that quality, that sound. It sounds different than this, right? We want this. It's a difference in sound, and that is what we're focusing on. So it doesn't matter if you can hear bottom, middle, top note. That doesn't matter right now. All that matters is that you hear something, no matter how quiet it is in your mind, no matter how unsure of it you are, no matter how abstract it seems. Can you hear something in your mind? Close your eyes, listen again. Okay, now, so much of musical training, well, if you're a musician, you know this, you're focused on perfection. We're told, play it slow before you play it fast. If you can't play it slow, you can't play it fast. It kind of applies to audiation, but it's a little bit different because with the play it slow technique, a very important technique for getting fast, it's kind of funny how it works, we are aiming for perfection every single time we play. So the idea is the more times we play it correctly, the more likely we are to play it correctly when we have to play it faster or in a concert. We're trying to develop these deep grooves for this autonomous system, this robotic mind in a sense, where we can just play without thinking. If you had to think about every single note you played on the piano with both hands, you'd never learn a piece. It would be too much information. So we rely a lot on what our finger memory does. That's what musicians kind of call it, finger memory, right? And if you're a vocalist, you rely on how it feels. So what we're trying to do here is we're not aiming for perfection, because what we're trying to do is unleash the mind. We're trying to unbreak it, in a sense, from this need for perfection. We just want to hear the quality of this chord. And whatever that is, maybe you only hear it as a single note. Maybe you're not even sure if you're matching pitch. Maybe you're not getting any of the notes and you're not hearing the piano. You're just hearing this fuzzy sound in your mind. If you can hear that, you are on the right path. So listen again and just try and hear it. And we're going to make this more complicated in a moment. Try and audiate. Hear it internally. Relax. Don't aim for perfection. Just anything you hear is correct right now. Okay. Audiate that. All right. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to go from 1 to 4. Just in root position here, sticking with C major. I'm going to play the 2 chords, and then I want you to try and audiate them. And the goal here is not necessarily to hear a clear 1 chord and a clear 4 chord. If you can do that, fantastic. But if you can't, no problem. All you're doing right now is trying to hear 2 different textures. Something that sounds different than the other. We're comparing and contrasting. All we're doing is unlocking the mind's ability to hear more clearly internally. So any edge that you get, any new ability that you develop, if you hear the piano sound and it's very clear, fantastic, celebrate that. If you just hear a fuzziness, that's fine too. So let's listen to the 1 chord and then the 4. I'm going to play them right after each other. Audiate. Okay, let's do it again. Keep your eyes shut. Keep breathing, keep your eyes shut, wait for the sound. Here we go. Again. You're audiating in the silence. Again. Okay. So what happens here is this starts to unlock an ability. Just doing this simple exercise. And we want to make it a little more complex. I want to go 1, 4, 5, 1 today. So let's do this again. Here we go. Okay. Audiate. All right, now we're going to add another chord, the 5 chord. Let's try it again. Audiate. Okay, again. You're audiating. Okay, now we're going to do one more thing to try and make this a little more clear. I'm just going to play the roots, and you're just going to audiate what I play. Audiate. And again. Audiate. And one more time. And you're audiating. Now let's hear the chords. See if it gets any better. Audiating. And one more time. And audiate. Did you hear any improvement? Any at all? Did you do something today that you couldn't do before today? Even a small thing. Even if you feel like you have this ability, right now what you're doing is you're not really audiating, you're imitating. But that is the first step to true audiation. So with true audiation, what happens is you actually create in your mind and you know what you're hearing. So there's really two aspects to it. If we're going to break this down, make it simple. Audiation requires you to be able to hear internally when no sound is present on the outside. And it also requires you to be able to create it and understand it on your own. So you need to know what you're hearing. There's two aspects of it. I break it down. This is Dr. Edwin Gordon's view is you basically have audiation, internal hearing, and then knowing what you're hearing is part of that. For me, I break it up into two parts. Audiation is simply being able to understand and hear something in your mind. It's the ear training that lets you know what you're hearing. And there are two different components for me because I find that ear training and audiation progress at different levels for different people. That's why I have my flawless course for ear training. It's one part. And then the composing hour is my audiation course. So it's two pieces of the puzzle that when you combine together become very powerful. So, what you can do right now, practice this daily, try it for 3 days in a row, and notice as you start to improve, see if you can increase the complexity of the progressions. Don't worry about breaking apart the chords and hearing root, third, fifth. That's a little more advanced. You can reach a point where you close your eyes and it's hard to explain, but I'm just going to explain it this way. You clearly see all three notes at once root, third, fifth. It's like you see them and you hear them. That's more advanced, and I'm not teaching that aspect of audiation. Right now, I'm just trying to give you an intro, just help improve your ears a little bit. So I'll end by saying, I help musicians who are stuck in a plateau by providing them with this audiation based ear training instruction. Every lesson that I'm going to put out here on YouTube and every lesson that I create for my private courses, it's designed to solve the same problem for the same dedicated musician. I'm not really at this point trying to teach everybody because by the time you get to audiation, I think you can start learning to audiate with no understanding of music because it's simply taking sound in. But ear training, you really do need to be playing an instrument and you need to have an understanding of how to read notes on the staff. And so for that, I created my Staff Speaks series book, which you can check out. It teaches you how to read notes in the treble bass and C clefs. And there's a bit of audiation in there as well. So I hope this was helpful for you. And even if you sensed a small improvement, just keep going, okay? Audiating chord progressions is a real game changer for improvisation, composition, and performance. I'm sure you can see how this can help. So make sure you subscribe for weekly lessons and let's keep developing your inner ear together. Really looking forward to working on more of these with you. So I'll see you next time. Thank you.